Hello everyone, Dark3 here with another Sir You Are Being Patch Noted. Now this is the update version 0.5.4725, otherwise called Dead Haggis. Surprisingly, because Haggis isn't involved in this update as far as I'm aware. Anyway, we've had a fair few additions and a fair number of fixes. Usually I go through the changes and additions first and the fixes later. This time, because there are so many new awesome changes, we're going to go through fixes first. So, let's go for it, shall we? Let's go. So fixes. Number 1, fix some Z fighting on House 2 model. I'm guessing that's some sort of colouring issue or something. Cursor no longer locked to centre on end game stat screen. That was a problem a lot of us had. We got to the end screen, completing the game, and then we couldn't do anything. We had to Alt F4 out, and now we no longer have that problem. Which is always nice to see. Nice work, James and Jim and everyone else working at Big Robot. We'll fix an issue where clicking continue on non-existent worlds could hang the game. Well, there you go. Fix an issue where you could charge up a mega jump while in water. That's now been fixed and you will no longer kill yourself when you hit the ground. Fixed an issue where having anything other than mouse 1 as your drop down menu button broke the mouse menus. Apparently that is still an issue where if you reassign it you may still have an issue doing use and discard. We are looking into that now and people are giving their bug reports to make sure that people are all aware. The Squire ragdoll doesn't start in T-pose anymore. I can vouch for that. If you look carefully in the background video you'll see that a Squire gets killed at some point and goes flying. And not in T-pose. It's pretty impressive actually. I'm amazed by how far I flew. Anywho, getting pinned by a dog now closes any open loot windows. That's an issue where people appeared on the floor and had no idea. Fix an issue where leaning would stop you moving, but the Viz meter did not register for change in speed. Yes, it still stops you moving. I'm not sure what that means. I need to actually report that issue. There we go. Leaning now no longer rotates the moon, which is a shame because that was pretty cool, being able to bend time and space with just your movement. Yeah, I have some very weird thoughts going through my head sometimes. Dying with a window open, reading a book, a letter or tooltip no longer messes up the death screen, so that will now close. Fixed an issue where falling into water delayed the fall damage until after you reach dry land. Yeah, that would be a sucky way to die. You think you're surviving and boom, dead. Players' health vitality stats are now displayed correctly when you change islands or load. Before, if you changed islands or loaded the game, they would start at 100 again and then suddenly drop to what they were. Now you do not have the issue, they start at what they were. Fix an issue where graphics options were resetting on load for some users. The pub sign pulled in a bit to stop clashing with some walls, so it was swinging quite far, now it swings a little bit smaller. Attempted fix for centering issue in windowed mode on multi-monitor setups. If you have more than one monitor it should now work fine. If you kill a dog just as it pins you, you should no longer remain pinned. And teddy pieces now all have the same sound effect. Oh, they now all have a sound effect, my apologies. The trapped camera wobble now correct length. Squire is no longer aggro when you collect a trap. Fix serious glitch with hunter sound investigation. Bots should now investigate sounds much more reliably. I can vouch for that. They do search like crazy and it makes things a little bit easier. But there are certain things which people are discussing and that involves bandages being a lot less common. But we'll talk about that at a point. And the final fix is the fix missing foundations on Priory. So there you go, those are the fixes, and now we shall go on to the sexy changes and additions which we have all been looking forward to since the last update and since we were told about what's coming in. So let's take a quick look and we'll go into it. So the first change is the 64-bit version automatically installs on Steam to the appropriate OS. So if you're using a 64-bit Windows 7, you will install the 64-bit version of the game. If you're using 32-bit, you will install the 32-bit version. Relatively simple, but that I think before it wasn't installing the correct versions. So there you go. The Hunter, Investigate and Searching state are reduced. The view cones are reduced, so they won't be seeing out of their ear holes, so they have less peripheral vision. It's being an issue, and it explains why they were able to turn around so quickly after you sneaking past them and were distracted. New item, or new equipment handling item redesign. They are now stop-based equipment assignments. You can drag and drop and put things where you want them to. No problems to look at there, because that is now awesome. It does not auto-assign, so whenever you pick something up, you will not be able to use it until you assign it a slot. even if you scroll, because the scroll wheel goes through 1, 2, 0. Remember to assign. I've had that kill me several times this past week. We have new items. The toy train is finally deployable. Before you could just see a train, and now you deploy it down, you can see what it does in the back, and it looks pretty damn awesome. The alarm clock is now deployable. It's a new item they've added in, and it is now a time-based distraction. You can again see it in action in the background. You put it down and walk away, and then it will go off for about 5 seconds twice. So you'll have about 12 seconds or so of distraction, and then it will start searching. Another new item. There's a lot of new items you'll find here. The map. With this, you can mark 3 waypoints on the map, and they will show on your compass. And if you click on the map to set the markers, they will appear on your compass. So there you go. By default, by the way, the default map key is M on your keyboard. If you remap it, it will be something else, but you can press M and your map will come up for the current island. The next new item is the scanner items. Quite simply, it guides you to nearby telepieces or nearby fragments, and it's like an oscilloscope. When you are getting close and looking towards a fragment, it will start beeping and being all squiggly to you. The compass has had a quick redesign. It now shows 180 degrees and not 360. So the waypoints stack at the edges if they go behind you. So if you have 2 boats behind you, you will see 1 boat to the side, and then when you turn, it will split it. Some bots have quit smoking. Before, every bot seemed to have a chronic smoking problem, and now there are some which don't have pipes. Possibly the greatest addition to this game now, the playable trombone, the first game in existence to have a first-person trombone action. If you click with the left mouse, if that's your default button, you will start playing the tune. There are 2 different tunes. I say tunes, I use that term loosely. And if you use the scroll wheel when you are playing, you don't have to hold it down, just click it and then let go, and then click again when you want to stop. If you use the scroll wheel, you can change the pitch of both tunes. I already have a bet on the forums that someone is going to decide on a song to play by the end of this week, and I get the feeling that I've already lost that bet. The inventory size has been increased by 1 column. So this is now accommodating to new items and kit, and I'm guessing because we're going to be carrying around a lot more stuff, I think the developers have made it a little bit more. They felt it reasonable to give us an extra column. I think that's what, about an extra 10 slots, possibly 8 slots, in order to equip more of the stuff. Sir and Madam now receive a visibility bonus during the night hours. The night has been made considerably darker, but it is still not quite as dark as some of us would like. I know they tweaked it because a lot of us were thinking it was quite possibly too dark. We're not sure. This is still a discussion. Again, it still needs some tweaking. There are now new idling animations for the hunters. Now, I've had a hard time getting hold of these. If you wish to see the idle animations for these, I know Gaming Toad managed to catch some. I will link his video down below. Go check him out. He has done his own little recap and you can see exactly what they do. Apparently they now drink tea and show off various trophies to each other, so take a look out for that. If you're watching from miles away and they're not patrolling, just use your binoculars and zoom on in. The camera now no longer sways when crouched and static. I'm not sure if that counts as an addition or a fix, but it is in the changes list anyway. And the to go with the cameras that are now more dramatic skies, or would that be melodramatic skies? We are not sure on that, but the skies have been given a much nicer change. They look very British in terms of how they look. Believe me, if you lived in Britain all your life, you will know just how annoying that sky looks half the time, but it does look pretty nice too. The ravens are now less cowardly corvids. They are braver. They will not fly the moment you breathe near them. Before, you didn't even have to be anywhere near them, and they will fly the hell away. Now they don't quite do that, which is also a pretty impressive addition. Nice to see we've done that, guys. There is a lot of new food in the game now, and I mean a lot. We have fish and chips, pickled eggs, pickled onions, tins of cat food, which restore 5 vitality. Remember to keep that in mind, because that cat food can come in handy. And various other pieces of food. Go around, look around, there are a lot of them. There are various other bric-a-brac items, like another skull. There are teapots. The teapot is actually a very fetching Union Jack teapot. and like 5 spice, which sadly does not count as food. I was hoping it would do something to my vitality, but you cannot use it at this point in time. So take a look around the houses and buildings. The new items are actually pretty impressive. The loot tables have been redone from scratch, and they will be very unbalanced in this update. We are currently discussing the various layout, or not bias, that's the layout, the various loot tables, and just making sure that they are all good. There does seem to be a bandage issue. Everyone who has reported so far does say that bandages are very difficult to come by, and food is much more common now. Hopefully with the next patch they will be fixed, and we'll be able to stop picking up torches and food, and possibly be able to get more bandages and weapons. And new addition, the interbot combat. Occasionally there will be fisticuffs between robot factions, so you will see it every now and then, but if the hunters cause a ruckus in a town, the Squire will try and kill them. Usually the Squire will be overpowered by the hunters, but he will usually take one out before he dies, which is always pretty cool to see. Something which is also intentional is that if you hear gunfight in the distance, chances are that there is a robot who pissed off the others and they are dead. You will go over that. I heard a fair few gunshots fairly recently and went over and boom, 2 dead robots and everyone just walking around like nothing happened. Pretty cool to see. If you do see it in person, just remember to watch and just wait for your chance to engage, because they'll pick each other off. It's brilliant. And as a final addition, it's not actually on the change list. I don't know why it's not been mentioned on the change list, but it's a new addition. And that is the torch, or the flashlight for you Americans. It is just a generic yellow torch, and it is very useful in dark. I think it'd be a lot more useful when the night is a lot darker. Darker than it was before, but it's still not quite as dark as a torch, as a use for a torch. But if you find one, pick it up. They are fairly common. Trombones don't seem as common as the torches, but the torches are fairly common, so if you want to try one out, get one. You will become a lot more visible at night if you do use the torch. I think just to make it more fair for us as the player, when it's dark we are harder to see, but if you use the torch you'll be a lot easier to see. Another thing that does appear to have happened, which isn't on the patch notes again, is that the balloon does seem to have been given a speed buff. It used to just amble along fairly slowly, and now it is very rapid, and it will catch you out if you are not paying attention, so keep an eye out for that. So there you go guys, thank you for tuning in to the So You're Being Patch Noted for the most recent update, the Dead update. If you do have any suggestions on what to implement in the game and you'd like to take part in playing the game, head over to the Big Robot Forum. They will tell you everything you need to know. We are fairly active and there's a lot of us there. The game is available on Steam for those of you who do not own it as yet, or you can buy it through Big Robot's own purchasing system and it will go through Humble. So if you enjoyed this, give us a like and a favourite and a subscribe, and you will hopefully see more So You're Being Hunted videos and mic takes, as well as other games in the near future. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all again very soon. See you later.